After this video, you will be able to use substitution in order to solve systems of linear equations. And now we're going to try a more challenging one. Here's my system of equations: a negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 9 and 2x minus 4y equals 8. Where do these lines intersect? What is the solution? So my first step: solve for one variable in terms of the other. So do I want to solve for x or do I want to solve for y? That's a decision I have to make, and I have to go based on what is going to be the easiest for me. Now, looking at the second equation, I notice that they're all divisible by 2, all the terms. They're all divisible by 2. That might make it simpler to solve for x or y, and so I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to just say, let's solve for x. We could also solve for y, but I'm just going to solve for x on this second equation. So I'm going to take that second equation, 2x minus 4y equals 8. And I want to get x by itself. That's just an kind of almost arbitrary decision that I'm making based on what I think is going to be easier. Because I know that if I want to get x by itself on a top equation, I'm going to have a fraction, because I'm going to have to divide everything by 2. That's going to give me a fraction. If I divide everything by 3 up here, that's also going to give me a fraction. Fractions are hard. Let's not even go there. Let's work with this bottom equation, because I know that if I divide everything by 2, then I won't have any fractions. So I have my second equation. I'm going to solve for x. So I want x by itself. Or before I even do that, oh yeah, let's just go and get x by itself. So let's add 4y to both sides. So I have 2x. My 4y's cancel. Equals 4y plus 8. There we go. And now I want to get this x by itself, so I divide everything by 2. So divide that by 2, divide my 4y by 2, divide my 8 by 2. And I am left with x equals 4 over 2 is 2. X equals 2y plus 8 over 2 is 4. So x equals 2y plus 4. And see what I did here? I solved for x in terms of y. Next, I need to substitute into that second equation. So I need to take my x equals 2y plus 4. If x is 2y plus 4, I need to take that and I need to substitute that into my other equation wherever I see an x. So instead of saying negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 9, instead I'm going to say negative 2, and I'm going to take my x and I'm going to plug that in, negative 2, do my parentheses, 2y plus 4. There we go, and I just substituted right there. Instead of putting x, I put in 2y plus 4. And that's the main point of substitution. Negative 2 times 2y plus 4. And now I just finished writing out my equation. Plus 3y equals negative 9. Okay, so far so good. Now, my next step, I'm going to simplify and solve for the other variable. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to simplify this, and I'm going to solve for y. So before I do that, let me give myself a little bit more room. And here we go. Simplify and solve for the other variable. So I'm going to take this negative 2 and I'm going to distribute that negative 2 using the distributive property. So negative 2 times 2y, that should be negative 4y. And then negative 2 times 4, that should be negative 8. And then plus 3y, that equals negative 9. Okay. And now, as I continue to simplify, I know I'm going to need to combine my like terms. I have a negative 4y here. I have a positive 3y here. Negative 4y plus 3y, that should be negative 1y. So negative y minus 8 equals negative 9. There we go. And now I want to get my y by itself because I'm trying to solve for y. So let's add 8 to both sides. Adding 8 to both sides to get rid of that 8. Negative y equals negative 9 plus 8 is negative 1. But I have what negative y is, but I want to solve for y. So I just multiply both sides by negative 1. So times negative 1 over here times negative 1 over here, and that gives me y equals 1. And so now I solved for y. Now I know what y is. Now that I know what y is, I plug that solution into one of the original equations. So what was my original equation? This was my original equation. Right here, one of these. So I want to take this y, which is equal to 1, and I want to plug it into one of the original equations. I can plug it either into the top one or into the bottom one. So let's take this y and let's plug it into that bottom equation. 2x minus 4, and now remember we're substituting, so y equals 1, so 4 times 1 equals 8. The next step, 2x minus 4 equals 8, because 4 times 1 equals 4. Okay, and now I want to add 4 to both sides, and I'm left with 2x equals 12. When I solve for x by dividing both sides by 2, x equals 12 over 2, which is equal to 6. X equals 6. So the solution to my system of equations is x equals 6, y equals 1. So these two lines intersect at that point.